This video is sponsored by Scentbird.
A few weeks ago, I was scrolling on X, my favorite website, when I came across a video with the caption, "Airhead is one of the first short films made using Sora by OpenAI." The video was, as promised, a short film made entirely with AI. I'm gonna play some of that video now.
Well, they say everyone has something unique about them, something that sets them apart. It's just in my case, it's quite obvious what that thing is.
This quote-unquote short film made me think a lot of things, mostly negative things. It was hideous, corny, empty, embarrassing, and honestly a total waste of time. And that's just the short itself. Reading the comments below it made me want to jump out of my window. But it got me thinking about AI and the effect it'll have on filmmaking, something I was hoping I wouldn't have to think about for a very long time, but is now sitting here at my doorstep. I haven't talked about AI a ton on the channel, mostly because I think most of you guys could guess that I'm not a huge fan of it. What is there to add to the conversation right now? But this felt like the time to talk about it because not only does the conversation seem to be constantly evolving, but it feels like it's getting good enough, and by that I mean scary enough, that I feel I gotta say something. To put it simply, it stinks. But you know what doesn't stink? Movies. As well as today's sponsor, Scentbird. Scentbird is a fragrance subscription that lets you choose a new designer fragrance to try every month for just $17. I recently got sent my 4 fragrances, and my favorite has to be Ethereal Wave. I don't know how, but it smells like this one hotel my family used to stay at when we would go to Chicago, and it just makes me happy. It's a good memory. They also sent me the Maker Lover, which smells really nice. It's a lot woodier. It feels very sophisticated. And they also sent me Transcendent, which is equally as sophisticated, but has a fruitier tone to it. What I love about Scentbird is that you get these designer fragrances without having to put in a lot of money. They offer affordable and flexible subscription plans. You can also skip or cancel your subscription at any time, making it a hassle-free experience. They have over 700 perfumes and colognes and a lot of unisex options. Everything from Gucci, Prada, and Versace to more indie labels like Skylar, Heretic, and Confessions of Rebel. With each fragrance, you'll get a 30-day supply so you can try out fragrances before committing to a full-size bottle. I mean, this is just one of them, and that'll last you a while. That's pretty good. Seriously, I've been using this almost every day. I can't imagine going a day without it. I cannot recommend Scentbird enough. Use my coupon code Karsten for 55% off at Scentbird. It's just a little over $7 for your first month. Available in the USA and Canada. So the thing about AI is that I don't think it's an entirely bad thing, which isn't the most unpopular opinion. I think everyone can agree the technology can be pretty groundbreaking and impressive in some regards, and as a tool it can make a lot of people's lives a lot easier. Or more specifically, it can be used to get people where they need to go a lot faster. A good example of what AI can do for film is highlighted pretty well in this tweet from James Lee Animation that reads, "I'm looking to pay someone for an AI solution. The job is to help me automate segmentation matting for use in isolating the teeth and lenses. Below is the ideal result I'm looking for." This to me is a great example of when AI can actually be super cool and useful. It can be used to take a neat idea and make the process of getting there a hell of a lot easier. But hold on, that sentence is a bit foggy, because while I think this is okay, I think this is stupid. The difference, in my opinion, is one of them is using it as a tool while they make the art. I see it as being similar to the auto white balance tool in Premiere, or motion tracking, or even audio syncing. These are all tools that I've used that automatically detect things to make the journey more about creating and less about tedious tasks. The other eliminates the journey altogether. That's probably why it's called mid-journey. The journey you're giving yourself is mid at best. But even when you look at AI as a pro for eliminating these tasks, it gets a little bit questionable. I don't mean for this to turn into a self-plug, but about a year ago I made a music video for some friends that was basically a video collage of them performing on different billboards and walls. It was a very long-winded editing process that got very frustrating after a while because it was such a specific task that there wasn't a straightforward tutorial that I could look up as far as I knew. So I had to do a lot of manual keyframing and motion tracking, all out of love for the craft, because I really wanted to see this idea come to life. The result is about what I wanted it to be, and I was extremely proud of that final result. But it wasn't perfect. Every now and then there are some kinks and some jittery motion, but to me those kinks make the thing what it is. One of the things that I find most fulfilling about this video when I reflect on it is I can see the headache of putting it together when watching it, and seeing the scrappiness gives it a more personable feel that, to me, is appealing. I wanted it to look collage-y, and the main appeal of a collage is you can tell it's a bunch of pieces put together. You can see the edges of the cutouts. It's not supposed to be a perfect illusion. Obviously, maybe not everybody feels the same way, but that's how I feel. And for a while I thought, man, I wish there was some AI tool I could have used to make this easier, to make my idea come to life without the headache. Now, if I was James Lee Animation and this was something I do all the damn time, yeah, I would want to streamline my process a bit, that makes sense. It's not like any major creative choices are being made in the segmentation matting process. But for this one specific project of mine, I'm ultimately glad I can look back at it as something I did with my own hands, because I got to put the fellas wherever I wanted to put them. I have them move a certain way. You get the idea. To put it simply, it was the process of making it that made the video what it ended up being. We've all heard the reasons why AI art is bad, but film especially is such a depressing art form to see AI being used on. To substitute millions of tiny decisions that make something what it is with a Frankenstein-like creation that really is just that, a bunch of reference points molded together. It's depressing. I'm no tech expert, but isn't AI, by design, made up of things it already knows? Like, AI will never make anything that's truly original. There's no new perspective. There's no experience AI has lived through that informs the decisions made in the film. The appeal of a film isn't just that it looks and sounds nice, it's that it came from a lifetime of experience that inspires choices. And anyone, not just cinephiles, can recognize the appeal in that. Even if that experience and soul isn't on the surface, you can feel it in the film. It's what makes something resonate with you. Let me use an example of a film that AI people probably go nuts over. Joker. It's relevant again, why not? Even Joker, which I think is a fine movie. I respect it quite a bit. Joker worked as well as it did because it felt like it was made by an actual guy. Todd Phillips, being a director who mostly made douchey comedies, coming in and doing this little dark and twisted take on a comic book villain, it really struck a nerve with a certain crowd. A guy like that, to an extent, understood the perspective the film was coming from, and he made a series of decisions that made it really effective for a lot of people who had felt the same in 2019. Joker's actually a great example, because that film in itself is a borderline ripoff of Taxi Driver and King of Comedy. It's not subtle about it, but even then, even if it is a shittier version of those films, it does have its own contemporary style and voice. It's coming from its own place. It's still pretty different. Tell an AI to make a Joker movie in the style of Taxi Driver, and you'll get a far more surface level and forgettable film, a film that lacks the same angst, the same awareness of the crowd it's being made for. Joker isn't my favorite movie in the world, but I see the appeal. It's still a movie. Let's take this a step further. Madam Web. Madam Web I appreciate compared to AI. It's the worst movie I've seen in years, don't get me wrong. It made pretty much every wrong decision along the way. Horrible decisions, but decisions nonetheless. I'm not gonna dwell on this example too long, to be honest. I'm not about to sit here defending Madam Web like that. But the point is, it's something. I will take it any day over whatever this is. To me, Madam Web is representative of something. It's the result of milking a genre of film to a point where the film itself doesn't even know what it's supposed to do anymore. This is years of superhero shit molded into a film. Madam Web, if nothing else, was a wake-up call to stop making movies like this. The point is, it's something. This is nothing. But a majority of people simply do not care about all that. The potential is more exciting than art. The question is, where is this going? What's gonna happen to film? It's been said many times, if this video of Will Smith eating spaghetti was not that long ago, and if this is where we're at now, who knows where we'll be in like 2 years? Which film festival will start accepting films made entirely with AI? When will the Oscars nominate their first AI film? At this point, it's not a matter of will they, it's a matter of when will they. Guys, things are gonna get bad, because that's how people are. People are obsessed with seeing how far something can go, and while I have unreasonable faith in most of society agreeing that robots shouldn't replace us altogether, I don't think enough people are concerned about art, specifically movies. In an algorithm-driven society where people just need something, anything to listen to while they eat lunch, like this video probably, most people are going to not care enough where the thing they consume came from, as long as it exists and is in front of them. The title of this video is AI and Filmmaking, not AI Filmmaking. To me, there is no such thing as AI filmmaking, the same way there's no such thing as AI painting, AI writing. Like I mentioned earlier, the process is what makes the piece what it is. It's the choices you make along the way, the choices that led to those choices. An AI program, unlike a person, hasn't lived a lifetime of experience that most of the time will inspire the filmmaking process, sometimes unintentionally. Nobody made a film here. They typed out a prompt. Nobody actually painted this. Nobody wrote this. If there's no process, as far as I'm concerned, there's no film. In that way, AI filmmaking is worse than bad. It's nothing. It doesn't exist. While this isn't the most positive video, I will say I don't think film will ever disappear entirely. It might get worse, but it'll get better eventually. Maybe there will be a feature film made entirely with AI. Maybe there'll be a bunch of them. Maybe they'll be successful. And after that, maybe we'll get to a point where we realize we went too far. An art drought. People will get burnt out on slop, on content, and there will be a craving for something new, or maybe just something fulfilling. Really, all I can do is hope that all of this leads to a resurgence, that on the other side is a deeper appreciation for the thing we had right in front of us the entire time. I don't know how to end this video because I don't really know what's gonna happen with all this. I just had to ramble about it for a little bit because it's been giving me a headache. So with that said, thanks for watching. Go watch a real movie, any movie, and form your own opinion. And before you head out,
Thanks to Scentbird for sponsoring this video. Check out the links below.